Today, we're going to talk a little bit about costumes. And I wanted to ask you, are we going to do in book and in show?
I want to do both because
Okay.
I feel as though I know for me, a lot of the outfits are so very different in the
Hmm.
TV series than they are in
Like as they're
the book.
described.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, in other areas, I feel like they hit it really well. Like I feel like the Aiel outfit, that
Hmm.
gets two thumbs up for me.
And they even colored it so like they were camouflaged by the snow. So like it
Yeah.
was thought out. Like it's did the IEL like pack a bag and they were like, this is our desert costume. This is our snow dragon mount costume.
Yeah, shift from almost that, like,
Reversible.
sand. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're so clever. They probably make sure that whatever they have can be, like,
Mhm.
wrapped in a way that allows them to find a place where they can be camouflaged.
If you were a person on the show, what's the costume that like you would want to wear? I mean, it's probably not Aiel. I'm just saying that from I know you.
Um
I'm thinking some of these Aes Sedai costumes, or even like Dana's little like barmaid
Ooh, yeah.
outfit was
I
pretty cool.
Egwene is one that comes to mind
Yeah,
almost immediately because it's very similar to what I
you
would
wear
consider
anyways.
like my normal winter wear anyway, like
Really?
kind of in a way, yeah, like thicker tights, leggings.
Hmm.
I always get boots that have like some kind of a lining to them because I get cold and I never wear pants. So I have to have something that keeps my legs warm. And then I
We
usually
just
wear like
need
a
to we just
longer
need to
coat.
clarify. We just need to clarify you wear skirts, not that you
Oh, yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
bottom naked.
I kind of always forget about that. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, and so I love that.
Okay.
That
Okay.
stays in.
Yeah. I'm
Anyway,
just
I love it. I feel like I could have somebody make that for me and I would feel comfortable
mhm,
wearing it. So from like a cozy, comfortable, realistic aspect, Egwene is
mhm,
my favorite. I would wear everything Alana wears.
mhm.
I would be barefoot like her in that one scene where she's like hanging out and talking with Moraine and whatnot. Like her battle presence and outfit
Yeah.
is like, I mean, she's still got gold chains on, but she's ripping things up and I just love it. She's just got so much confidence. I
Yeah.
would want to wear that and also have the commanding presence that she has that goes along with it. That's what I would want. What about you?
I would probably go in like the total opposite direction and
Mhm.
want to put on something that I would never wear like every day, something like as
Mhm.
far out as like what I would normally wear. Okay,
Mhm.
so the Age of Legends flashback when we get
Mm.
Latra,
Mhm.
her outfit was pretty cool. Like I liked
Mhm.
this like white kind of like long in back. It almost looked like partially like how the back of like a tuxedo would go, like kind
Mhm.
of that
Hmm.
piece in back. That was really cool. But also, I don't know, like give me some cool Shan Chan gear or something.
I
I
was just
mean,
thinking Lady Amelisa's outfit at
oh, the
the
battle outfit when she's got her
that one,
father's like gear on, his armor.
so good. I was thinking of, like, the dress that she wears, like that white
Mhm.
kind of colored
With the
dress.
scooped like
Yeah, yeah, and, like, the way
collar.
that the neckline and then the way that it's almost Mantua-esque, like 17th, 18th century style
Mhm.
dress towards the hip area and the way that it, like, pushes out, but then it comes in and almost has, like, that taper cut to the front, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
It just
It's
it's
almost like an
different.
open chalice up top.
Ooh,
Like
yeah. Yes. She she is the one you find in the center of the chalice kind of thing.
Well, it's like
Um,
cup-like, like, don't wear that out
mhm.
in the rain, please. It's
I
like
mean,
a
unless
bathtub inside.
it helps it's a facial steamer area. She takes toner tabs and, like, drops them. Gets a little
I'll go back to
Mhm,
kind of like this sci-fi appeal that the Shan
mhm,
Chen kind of appear to have, like, when we get that last scene in episode 8,
mhm,
the dress for I wanna guess it would be, like, the Death Watch guard, whoever the soldiers were on the boat, not
mhm,
the Soldam or the Domine, but those were very cool, and it's kind of like this throwback to almost like this sci-fi, almost horror
mhm,
monster film
mhm,
where I think, like, if we get that type of stuff looped in, like, just imagine what Shara is gonna look like. I mean, just the wind finders, if we get them, please. I mean, please. But, like, there are some very interesting cultures out there that we haven't
mhm,
really seen,
mhm,
especially the Shanshan, because we just get this one shot and it's like on the boat. So are these their travel clothes? Are these
mhm, mhm.
their, like, when we enter a city, this is what we want to look like and have people see? Or is there like more of a regal style that they will want to present once they've established themselves in
I'm
Balma?
just I'm just thinking, like, from what we know about the Seanchan and how clothing plays such a big role in establishing the hierarchy, like, on
The
site.
class, yes.
Exactly. So I think we'll have a lot of characters who are going to stay the same. You know what I mean? Like, the
Mhm,
soldiers
yeah.
will probably always be dressed like soldiers, and I don't really
Mhm,
see big changes for the Soldam and the Domine,
mhm.
but but if they
But
bring in Lord Turok, especially if they bring in Lord
mm,
Turok the way that we discussed in the podcast, which still in my mind is such a cool scene,
yeah,
um, it would be such a cool exhibit
display.
of yeah, and I mean, maybe that's why we don't get any of the nobility standing on the deck of the ship as the Seanchan are coming in. Their
They're saving it.
wardrobes yeah, like, they're very different from what we get in the show so far, and we have had, like, a really cool range of, like, cultural
Mhm.
adaptations into various areas throughout the Westlands as far as, like, costuming goes, and so I think this really stark difference that's going to hit people who have never seen it before will potentially hit us the same way as us viewers, like, that's
Such a feast, like a feast for the
I mean,
eyes.
seriously, those pleated
Mhm.
pants that they talk about him wearing, his hands, the way his nails
The
will be done.
fingernails, the long blue
Exactly.
fingernails. I mean, I know that it's ridiculous and people will be like, "What? Like, what are we looking at?" But if he walked in, Lord Turok, with these long blue fingernails,
Mhm.
like, I'm just picturing the
This
close up as he, like, pulls his sword, or I think he's handed his sword by his servants, but,
Mhm. Yeah,
like,
after
as he's
he's, like,
holding it,
slowly disrobed, and is
right?
like, "I shall enjoy taking you down," like
I feel like they would most definitely do this close up shot of his blade because he's another blade master, so it'll be like
Mhm.
this one-on-one if we get it, if is the
Mhm.
big question here. But,
Mhm.
like, the close-up on the blade and his hand, the long fingernails, like, it would just be
Mhm.
cool, and I think it would be kind of shocking for new viewers to be like, "Wow, like, what? Like, this culture is different. This is very
Mhm.
outside of what we've seen so
Yeah.
far," and
Mhm.
that's really exciting just to end up in Falma. Like, we've got we've got a lot of cool, like, options coming up, and
Yes.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in the
Oh my
costume
gosh.
department and just see, like, what they're working on and
Right? I'd run and get lattes for them. I'd be so happy. I
Right.
would just sit and be like, "I'll hand you anything you want. Whatever
Mhm.
you want, just may I
Yeah.
watch your process." This is brilliant. I mean, some of my favorite parts for the TV show are actually, like, the behind the scenes, and I think that's I mean, not to talk too much about this show, but I think that's what gives me so much hope for the next season is the behind the scenes feast that we get that shows, like, this dedication from
Honestly,
everyone
like,
working on it.
I think I had more fun watching the behind the scenes and the bonus features,
Mhm.
maybe
Oh,
a
those
little
are
bit more
so
than the
cool.
actual show, but I was one of those
Sometimes.
people who grew up, like, watching these, like, movie magic shows where they talk about how they make all the things in the
Yes,
background, do the sets, and
that's, like, my favorite.
yeah, and it's just it's interesting to see things, like, from behind the scenes,
Mhm.
and I think
Yeah.
that's one of the most interesting, like, bits of information we've gotten, like, before the season, during the season, like, all the little releases that they had where people spent
Mhm.
hours just looking at the Emmonsfield 5 and being like, "Oh, look at the shoes, look at the boots,
Mhm.
look at the hemming, look at Matt's,
And I was
like,
like, "I will."
threadbare." Yeah, it's a feast, and I'm oh my gosh, like, I'm just
Gladly.
I know that they're probably gonna save, like, the bigger stuff for maybe the trailer or not even show it at all because I wouldn't. I would want that to be a surprise. Like, if they show Lord Turok with the nails and
Right.
everything, like, I think that will be a surprise. But I'm
Mhm.
also thinking about the Domine and
Mhm.
if they're gonna revamp that a little bit
Mhm.
because I think, like, in this boat scene it's kind of like a wide shot, and we don't get, like, a lot of, like, close-up action except for when the Soldam is, like, commanding them to
Mhm.
channel. But are the dresses gonna be more sheer than what we already
Mhm.
saw? Because it looked
Mhm.
very, very similar to Egwene wearing that white gown when she's captured by the White Cloaks. So, like,
Mhm.
I feel like there could be a little bit more of a divide to, like, keep something like that separate because it's just it kind of, like, happened twice, like, "Oh, you're
Mhm.
captured," like, it's got this, like, feel to, like, prisoners have to wear white, I
This
guess?
is this is the captured uniform.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
regardless of where you are, this is the
in the
outfit you
Westlets.
always get. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, even the Sean are like, "Meh, good enough. Why change that
yeah,
design? Everyone uses it."
mhm,
I think that that is a possibility. But I think in particular, the the outfits for the Dako Veil, I feel like they should resemble very closely the books. And this sounds so, I was flipping through, my National Geographic history that my
mhm,
mother-in-law so lovingly gets for me every year, thank you, Nora, but they were showing statues of who is believed to be Nefertiti, and the way that the drapery of what she's wearing,
mhm,
even in the statue, you can tell is so transparent and thin and folded in such a way, like, I feel if they could do something like that with, like, the Dako Veil outfit, it would
mhm,
be fantastic. Like,
yeah,
everyone comes up short when they see a Dako Veil. Nobody wants to be a Dako Veil, and we have lots of characters who are potentially in a situation where that is an outcome for them.
mhm,
So, I don't think that you can take that outfit away. I feel like it needs to be there, and I don't feel like it's a sexual sort of thing, like, the Dako Veil are seen as property,
mhm,
so it's like the garb isn't designed to be enticing. It's
Mhm.
designed, my assumption is, like, to establish
To show
status.
yeah, to show otherness, like lesser status.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the Shanchen do with everything they wear. Everything is
Mhm.
about
It's all
status.
coded. It's all
Yeah.
coded.
Fingernails, hair, veils. I mean,
Mhm.
if you can think of a garment, the Shanchen have rules about it. Who can wear it, what color it can be, what
Mhm.
color it cannot be. I kind of love that about them.
It's one of the more interesting cultures to talk about,
Mhm.
especially if we're talking about costume. And I
Mhm.
mean, this goes
Yeah.
for the books and the TV show. The
I love
Tyran
that.
people, their outfits are just, I mean, I don't know how they're gonna do it and not make it look like the Seinfeld, like, puffy sleeve shirt.
I think if they stick to a more elegant presentation and not something, like, ostentatious and ridiculous, like, there are so many
I
really
just
beautiful.
Yeah, I just wonder if they're gonna keep the puffy sleeves, like, is that
Oh, I hope
something
they
that they're
do.
Yeah.
I hope they do. Oh, yeah, I wanna see, like, walking 15th century portraits. Like, I wanna see Holbein-esque outfits adapted for Wheel of Time. I think that that would just be
They've
amazing.
Yeah, I think though that they've
No
kind of,
cod
like, s
pieces.
I
We
think
can
that
do
they've
without those.
kind of strayed from, like, the medieval garb quite a bit.
Yes.
I
Mhm.
mean, we do get kind of these
There are
in a
little
two
touches
r
of it here and there.
Yeah, yeah, I think there's little nods to it, but they're trying to
Mhm.
kind of pull away from that, and
Mhm.
like you said, it's exciting to see, like, how they're going to adapt it for the
Yeah.
Wheel of Time timeline.
Yeah. Because I think the other thing about the outfits, especially in Edmonds Field, is that it feels as though their garb is inspired so much by their environment, which makes
Mhm.
sense when you
Wool,
live in a
yeah.
village in the mountains. Whereas Moraine's outfit is more stylized based on where she grew up and, of course, displaying her aja and what her needs are. So, we have those various outfits and hairstyles and whatnot
Mhm,
for her. It doesn't necessarily feel like an environmental choice. It's all
mhm,
style. So I feel as though we'll probably get something very similar for Tyr. Because I mean, we have those sections in the books where it's commented that it's hot as hell outside and the Tyrians are still walking around with their big puffy sleeves and their like
mhm,
velvet caps with feathers and shit. And yes, I want to see that. I think how the costumers have been able to blend styles, cultures, histories, and create the costumes that they have. They could take those inspirations and turn the Terran nobles into something pompous and
mhm.
cool. It has to
Yes.
at least be pompous. That's why the puffy sleeves
Yeah.
are so good. It needs to be pompous.
I'm really excited to see what they will do with armies
Mm,
because the the Shinarans, like, when they're suited up, I'm not gonna lie, like, that is cool. Everything that they've done for the white cloaks and they're not in, like, battle gear at that moment. They're just kind of like their traveling gear.
mhm, mhm,
But I think the attention to the military wear, like the armor and whatnot, has been amazing. Like, it has been
mhm,
spot on and
mhm.
better than I expected. I know some people didn't like the white cloak outfits, like the big
Mm,
pieces. I thought
I
they were
actually like
cool
them.
though. Yeah,
Mhm,
I until I watched the behind the scenes and realized that it was leather work, I
mhm.
honestly thought that it was metal, like, because it was
Yeah.
so shiny and so, like, done up. But, I mean,
Mhm.
leather obviously makes way more sense.
Mhm.
They're not gonna be riding around with, like, metal
Yeah,
pieces on.
and I mean, leather still has its own level of protection, especially the way that that
Mhm,
one is like, you can tell it's, like, rigid and thick, so
mhm.
something swinging towards your neck, it's probably nice to have a little shoulder
Yeah,
protection there, you know?
yes.
"Protect my neck!" There is one book costume outfit
Mhm,
that I really think is super fun, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the one in Ibudar, where they have, like, the multiple petticoats, and they, like, wear them up, like, a little hemmed up on the side, and they have the marriage knife and whatnot. Am I in the
mhm.
right place with all of that
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Okay, alright, I thought so.
No, Abu Dar would be a really fun one,
Right.
especially if they bring in the festival wear, like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
'cause
That
was
would
it
just be
Festival of the
fun.
Birds?
Mhm.
I mean, can you imagine if they do an episode where everyone is just
Mhm.
done
Mhm.
up? It's very cool, very cool. What a dream, like, what a
Dancing, running
costumer's
around.
dream.
Yeah,
The
music.
feathered look.
Yeah, yeah, like, the way of making it look like you have feathers, like you're wearing feathers without wearing feathers, like,
Mhm,
some of the outfits don't even look like they're attached to anything, they're just, like,
mhm.
gracefully laying across the
Do
person's
you
body.
do you think if we get the Heroes of the Horn, that there
Mm.
will be something ethereal and dreamlike to their presentation via outfits and
Mm.
costuming? Or do you think it's going to be more
Ooh, that's a
plain, so
really
it's
good
not
question. Okay, so I think each hero is going to be garbed in, like, whatever would have been, like, what they wore during
their
their
timeline?
yeah, yeah, like, I think that that would be the main distinguishing
That's a really good
factor
point. Yeah,
because
that
we
way
have
you
them,
could
like,
be able to
pulled from,
tell
like
and look and just be
mhm.
like, "Okay, clearly this is not one cohesive, they drop out of the sky and they have their matching
Yeah, yeah, this
Laurent
isn't
Riod pajamas on." Like, they've got, like,
someone
actual pieces that they would wear during
mhm.
their era, their own timeline.
Yeah, it feels as though in the majority of the stories that are told that we get in the Wheel of Time regarding the Heroes of the Horn, their outfits and weapons are generally one of the most defining features that we have. Like, nobody really remembers what any of them look like, but
Mhm.
everyone knows about Brigida and her long braid and her
Yeah, yeah,
silver bow. And then for
yeah.
Guidol Kane, he's the
The double
dude with the
axe
2
or the double
swords.
swords on the back.
So his
Jason Statham.
his silhouette is instantly recognizable.
As beautiful as everyone has been, I think we're gonna get a hot Geidel Kane.
No.
We're getting a hot Geidel Kane. I'll put
I
money
put
on
my
it.
foot
I'll
down.
put money on it. If he shows up and he's hot, we gotta make a bet. You have
Okay.
to feed your soul to the Fin.
Oh, man. That's a heavy one. That's a heavy one.
You have to do a Discord AMA.
I mean, oh my god. That would be so funny. I was just all I was thinking was, "You assume that I still have a soul at this point. That's really nice of you." Uh,
I mean,
uh,
they've made everyone beautiful for the most
it's
part,
true.
like
We're not really getting very many homely people
mhm,
throughout the series, like, everyone is just mesmerizing in their own way, and I mean, I'm totally fine with that, but one of the best things about Birgitta and Geidel Kane is that for her, it's the ugly guys, quote unquote, who are always the most attractive to her. And so like
She likes men that have lived life, okay? I think
yes,
she relates
yeah.
to that. If someone's too pretty or too
She's like,
unblemished with no flaws, it's almost to her like you're a baby. Like,
yeah,
you're just
you're too
nothing.
pretty.
And she
Yeah.
likes Uno because he's got scars and he's got a
And
nice butt.
one eye.
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
love that
I
about
love
her.
that about
So yeah, exactly. I don't want them to take that away from her. I want her to
but
keep that.
yeah.
And so
Oof.
I want Guido Kane to be like, at least, just normal looking would be okay. You know?
Yeah.
Just,
They're
I
actually
don't know.
going to cast Steve Buscemi for Guidel Kane. Did you know? I'm kidding. In my head, though, I see
The mental image is so good. Ah, I'm trying to decide like how I want to like costume him in that moment because what I would think of Guidel Kane wearing just does not lay
Guidel
over on
Kane is
Steve
like
Buscemi for me.
he's like a hulking man, though.
Yeah,
They say he's
yeah.
squat, but I mean, in the Wheel of Time, like how many characters are like, oh, like I'm almost 8 feet tall. So like what is squat really? I mean, is that
This is
just like a
like,
standard like 6 foot?
mhm. What does middle-aged mean when you're like 400? What
Right?
does that mean? Like a
He's
middle-aged
20.
man.
He's 20 and six
Okay.
foot tall and jacked. Sounds disgusting, right?
I guess it depends on what you prefer.
I'm with Brigida. I'm with Brigida on this one.
Mhm.
Guidel Kane is wonderful. He's a wonderful man. He's a wonderful man until
Exactly.
Rotten Road. Okay,
Exactly.
costumes. Costumes.
So yeah,
I'm
as
trying.
far as like the Heroes of the Horn are concerned, I think it's going to be era based that will
Mhm,
distinguish them, and there's so much that they can do with that. And the other thing is I think they'll probably still somehow like do the rising mist thing that gets done in the
mhm.
books. So we have them like kind of just, and I mean that how inexpensive would it be to do that?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm,
you can do it without like any kind of special effects, and I think the point would get across, like,
mhm.
and how much more terrifying to the Shan-Chen to just be descended on by like badasses without really recognizing that that's what was happening.
Mhm.
So I don't know, I think
I'm
you can beat them really simply, but I think it can be really, really cool.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
I'm trying to think
that's
if
how
there
I feel
was
about that.
the Aes
Hmm.
Sedai, like all of the costumes are gorgeous, beautiful, amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's almost like they're all so nice that like all I can say about it is like, yeah, they're beautiful, and then like moving
You know what?
on.
Yeah. It's There's a striking plainness, if you will.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
much more uniformed in some ways than
Mhm.
I would have expected it to be. Um, one of the things that's actually fun, sometimes Robert Jordan really likes to go into detail about clothing, and sometimes I love it, and sometimes I'm like, that's enough. I get it.
Mhm.
They've been wearing this outfit for like 4 books now. I don't need any more details about it. But there are definitely times where I'm like, yeah, that sounds really, really, really cool and complicated. And the Aes Sedai are like all over the place, and their clothes kind of reflect their personalities. And in the scene with the hall, I'm like, well, it just felt really bland. And I know
Mhm.
that there were a lot of things that were going on that probably made it so that it may not have been the scene that they necessarily wanted it to be. Um, but it just didn't feel quite, I mean, the Amerlin's outfit,
Is
I
it
liked that.
possible that they made all of the other costumes a bit bland so that it was like,
Mm.
and look at the Amerlin. Like,
Ta-da!
this is what you should be looking at. because I almost felt that like that was the Sophie Okonedo was the star there. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I
When
mean,
isn't she?
I'll link our other costume video up here somewhere
Cool.
that we talk about her for pretty much, the whole episode.
We could have a
But
Sophie Okonedo appreciation episode because I've seen her in a few different things now, and every time she's just her voice. Her voice is so good. It's so good.
mhm.
Okay, sorry.
I'm excited for the next Amerlin look that
Mm,
we're gonna get. How are they gonna
mhm.
top that gold dress? How?
What if they just keep it?
They
Like,
could.
what if it's all, like, the stole of the Amerlin Sea? Like, what if it's not just the shawl? What
That
if it's, like, the whole
the dress.
heavy contraption that she wears out there? I mean, that thing is pretty damn elaborate. Like, to wear that for one occasion, I mean, I
I
don't know,
think
that is pretty, like, queenly wasteful, if you will.
Yeah, I'm
Expected?
thinking about what we talked about for the influences of that outfit, how you were getting
Mhm.
like major
Elizabeth the First.
vibes, yes. And
It's
I
the
don't think Elizabeth would wear the same costume, the same outfit twice. I don't think the Wheel of Time is gonna leave Sophie Okonedo in that gold dress again.
You're right, you're
I
right.
think
I'm
that
actually, like, in my head thinking about it, there were warehouses dedicated just to the queen's dresses. Like,
Yeah,
the
and that's
wardrobe
the
was
Amerlin,
massive.
like, she's on top, like, she is the
Mhm.
most important, powerful person in the Westlands.
Yeah, she can have
So
anything made, brought to her, tailored
yeah,
for her. Yeah, okay, good point. Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
thinking about what is going on in the costume department of the show. Like, they've got something going on, like, I feel it in
Mhm.
my bones that they're gonna try and top that gold dress, and we're gonna get another, like, "Oh my gosh," like, wow moment from the
What if it goes
Amerlin.
what if it goes in the opposite direction? Like,
They
what if
could.
instead of it being, like, super ostentatious, it comes almost down? Like, considering who the person is, what they've gone through, I feel
Yeah,
as
it
though
depends on the location of where we're gonna see
Mhm,
her. If it's another meeting with all of the sitters there, like, she's gonna be done
mhm,
up, but
mhm. Mm. I can definitely see, like, once oh gosh, it's so many spoilers.
okay,
Um
I think I know exactly what you're gonna say, and depending on what's going on politically for the
Mhm,
Amerlin, she could
mhm,
either play up her power via
mhm,
the costume, like
mhm,
assert her dominance over the
mhm,
room via the costume, or we can show more of like a broken woman via like more
mm,
muted colors and not as sharp lines. Like if she's going through
mhm.
something, is that
I was
spoiler free enough?
I think so, I think so.
Okay.
I think the other direction that could go with that is giving her her own authority regardless of costume, and that would be something that the actor would have to be able to pull off. Like, you're so entranced by what they are saying, what they are doing, that the
Mhm.
costume is secondary, you know? Like,
Okay.
but I feel like both are needed. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are gonna be lots of moments where the wardrobe is not even gonna be available, you know? Like, so
Yeah.
everything is gonna have to be kind of like make do and hope for the best, and they just have to kind of, like, pull themselves together that way, so you can have, like, this, like, growing acquisition of confidence in themselves, and
Mhm.
then, like, at the right moment, everything comes together, how that person feels in the moment, the right outfit that comes together at the
Mhm.
time when things need to happen. Because I mean,
I'm thinking about what you're saying right now and how we could see, like, this evolution kind of
mhm,
different outfits according to what the story needs in that moment via acting,
mhm,
via, whatever.
mhm,
I would really like to see if in a moment of maybe like desperation or a moment of like a lot of emotion for
mhm,
Swan, like during the Swan story of things kind of changing for her,
mhm.
will we get more of a nod to Tear, perhaps? Like, will
Well,
she
and
eventually kind of use her cultural background as
mhm,
like part of her what she wants to present at one point in the
mhm.
story?
Well, and I feel like you saying that, I feel as though what she's wearing does. Like,
Well,
as the
right, like the
Amaranth
low
seat, like,
cut, you can see
yep,
tattoos.
mhm. Like, it very much like, with us feeling like it goes back to an Elizabeth the First vibe,
Mhm,
that's, like, the time period that the Terran nobility is inspired from. So maybe Swan is like recognizing, because I mean, that's something that the majority of all of the Aes Sedai bring to whatever
right.
outfit they wear. They still keep their
Mhm.
cultural connections in their outfits. So perhaps this is something where Swan was like, she went to Mistress What's Her Face and was like, all
Mhm.
right, Terran cut, gold, elaborate, go. Like,
And give gold and give me those giant
give
clogs,
me
the
give
mud
me, like,
clogs
Terran. Yes! I
that
want
they wear.
Terran down to my toes.
Mhm. I wonder
Yeah, I
too
think
if
that that would
they'll
be fun.
I'm also thinking too about, like, quilted patterns that would, like, almost
Mm.
resemble, like, scales of a fish or something, like, working that
Ooh.
into her outfit,
Yes, for her, that would make so much sense. Like, almost a
right?
blend between, like, the nobility and the fisherman's daughter that she was.
Mhm.
Oh, that would be cool.
Okay.
We should
I
be
don't
hired
yeah.
as consultants.
I mean,
I
I could
say
talk
that all
about
the
this for
time.
hours.
That's not a good enough idea. You guys should be, listening. Listen to us.
Maybe they are. Maybe
You
they
know what?
are.
That'd be so wild. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die if, like, anything shows up where, like, we talked about it and it, like, somehow is magically almost exactly the way we wanted it to be.
It's
I
happened before.
mean, it's happened
I
before.
all of the speculation about who's
Mhm.
cast as Brigida, like, I have a Twitter post somewhere that I was like, "This woman is Brigida, like, prove me
Mhm.
wrong." And then when I
Right?
saw, like, people talking about her, I was like, "Oh my god. Oh my god." Yeah,
And we've
we'll
had,
see.
our eyes on, uh oh my gosh, Katsuane, the actress that we wanna have. Our,
Yeah.
Kadsa Varela.
Mhm.
How can
Cadsarala.
you put yeah. I want a Kadsurala episode, please.
Mhm.
I would love
Oh my
that
gosh.
somehow if, like, that happened and they made, like, Katsuin somebody who cusses all the time too, because like,
It needs to happen.
this gonna be so good, I can't wait.
Well, I just yeah, yeah, Cat Swain. I was just thinking about 2 possibilities of costumes for The Forsaken. I
Mhm,
mean, Ishamael's getup was pretty cool.
mhm.
I did see someone refer to him as looking like a waiter, like a catering service. I mean, it's a little bit too fancy for all of that. Like, I
I mean,
don't
I guess it
believe
depends on the
that,
restaurant,
but
but
yeah, right?
yeah.
But I do like the Age of Legends cut that they've been giving the actors and actresses. I think Lanfear's is just going to be bonkers. Like I feel like she needs a lot of like flowiness for some reason and a lot of silver or gold.
I
Just
think
because of the book descriptions, like she's always got the
mhm.
silver.
Yeah, and white. And it's
Hmm.
always immaculate, like, regardless.
Perfect. Yeah,
That
clean,
sounds like a
clean white.
nightmare. Sounds like a nightmare. I mean
Well, they the costume department has really stayed away from just like pure block white. Like even
mhm,
the White Cloaks outfits had a print on them. Like it
mhm,
was very hard to notice it, but when like you watch the
mhm.
behind the scenes, like you can see there's a print on these white outfits.
Yeah.
For Lanfear, I don't know. I mean, they could do like a moon print or something, or almost white that has like silver or gold embroidery, so it
Like,
doesn't
almost
look
a
so.
constellation print with little
Yeah.
crescent
Oh my
moons
gosh,
and
that would be so
stars.
cool. That would
That would
be
be
so
cool,
cool.
especially
Yeah.
if it was, like, really, really, really subtle. Like,
Mhm.
you would only catch little hints of it in the right light.
If you
That
were
would be
looking
cool.
up close.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would give
yeah.
dimension for sure. I
Mhm,
think of someone like Mogideon.
mhm.
For some reason, Mogideon to me has always been like this goth girl. Like
Yes.
I've
Yes!
seen, because she's the spider, and I've seen fan art where she's got this like blunt black bob. And I'm just
Yes.
like, oh my gosh, can you imagine what they're going to do for Mogideon? I
It might
can't.
be kind of fun if they did, like an early 20th century flapperish style for her in some
Okay,
way.
like the mod, like the no hip, like everything is
Yeah,
very.
yeah. But if they because I picture Mogideon being kind of curvy. Like, I don't
Okay.
necessarily so I would think that they would want to like adjust the outfit
I'm just
somehow, but like
I'm
just
just
to give her something that makes her
sorry.
feel almost no, you're okay. Like almost streamlined. And because doesn't she like to wear the straith gowns, or is it Grendel who likes to wear the straith gowns?
Well,
The ones
Grendel
that
likes
change.
the.
Well, Grendel likes to show it all whenever she gets a
Yeah.
chance. But I know one of them because that's the one that like changes with your mood. I feel like it's Grendel who likes to wear it. Um, but I always picture Mogideon like something dark and like lightly beaded, like just the tiniest bit of shimmer.
I always
Like,
think of like Rihanna wearing her like all black with like black lipstick with like the black
mm,
bob, lots of leather.
yeah.
Okay, we've missed a week or two of video because
Mm-hmm.
I've been traveling, and we haven't missed any podcast episodes though. So like we're doing something. So if you miss
Yeah.
out on video, just go listen to one of the podcasts. And we have a book club that we have
Yeah.
started doing
Yeah.
live streams and book discussions and topics. And we are always looking for people who want to read with us
Mm-hmm.
and join us on live streams. And we're reading the Expanse series, currently Caliban's War. I will
Mm-hmm.
drop a link down there and you can find it and follow us. Join us on Discord or social media or wherever you would like. And if you are looking for a book club and are
mm,
looking for people to read with, come find us because we've got a great little community going on. So
I agree. I agree. And encourage.
that wraps it up, and we will see you next time. Thanks.
Yay!